topic in drug policy reform. That's asset forfeiture. It's a really, really important topic. This is really important stuff. Everybody listen up. We have EAPEN THAMPY. EAPEN THAMPY is a policy analyst with Americans for Forfeiture Reform, a nonprofit research organization that works on America's state and federal civil asset forfeiture laws. EAPEN did his undergraduate coursework at the University of Missouri, Columbia in economics, mathematics, statistics, and represented Missouri at the national finals of the National Geography B twice as a middle schooler. So everybody please get up for Ethan.
Hi.
Hi, what's up?
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great. So yeah, my name's EAPEN THAMPY. I work on asset forfeiture law, and I live in Columbia, Missouri. Many of you may have seen the video of the SWAT raid in February that happened in Columbia. It happened about four miles away from where I live. What happened was the Columbia Police Department got a tip from an informant in 2009 that this guy had pot at his house. And then about a year later, they got a second tip. And based on those two anonymous tips, a year apart, a judge signed a search warrant, and the Columbia Police Department sent out between 13 and 18 officers with their SWAT team to search this guy's house for pot. Except they didn't serve that warrant immediately. They waited 8 days. And I want you to think about that. Why would the cops wait 8 days to execute a search warrant on a suspected pot dealer? So that he could get rid of it, and so they could get his cash instead. And that tells you something else, that the police are not worried about marijuana or cannabis getting out into our communities, because doctors smoke it, attorneys smoke it, state politicians smoke it. Everyone in all walks of life has medicinal needs and recreational desires, and people in every station of life use this plant. So they went into his house on a Tuesday night around 8 o'clock. Before they stepped over the threshold, an officer fired shots into the kitchen, killed this guy's dog, and as they went in, they fired 7 shots total, wounding his second dog and his 7-year-old kid. His wife is reading his 7-year-old kid to bed, and you see them brutally manhandling him, kicking him in the head as his wife and kid are ushered out of the house, and where they have to sit facing their dead dog while the police ransacked the house and ultimately found about 1 gram of weed, a pipe, and a grinder. They charged him with a simple possession charge and felony child endangerment. So, the story behind this is a bigger one though, and it's a big picture one. It's important that you guys understand how this works. This works because the police target people like you, target the people that you might buy from. They target everyone in all walks of life because they know that they can take property, they can take vehicles, they can take houses, they can take cash on the mere suspicion that drugs are involved. Sometimes they don't even have to find anything. They just have to have a suspicion or a paid informant, or they can even take stuff from you on hearsay. They can take the stuff, they can keep it for themselves, they can buy guns, they can buy iris scanners, big weapons, tanks. There's a sheriff in Georgia who has a tank. Columbia Police Department has an armored personnel carrier, military-grade equipment. What happened was, and this is actually, it gets worse, if you can imagine that. It gets worse. Because in Missouri, the state constitution says that if the police take money or vehicles or houses from people, that forfeiture has to go to a state education fund. This education fund is the one that builds schools. In 1990, Odessa School District sued and won a Missouri Supreme Court decision that said that its county commissioners were wrong to give $1 million in forfeiture money to the cops. They won a decision. Immediately after that, the Department of Justice sent out a letter to Missouri's law enforcement agencies saying, hey, your state law says you have to give education fund the cash, but we have a federal forfeiture law, so you come to us, we'll make the forfeiture, and we'll cut you a check for 80%. And in this way, Missouri state constitution and the direct intent of our state legislators was directly circumvented. In the past 2 years, they have taken between $50 and $70 million out of the pockets and out of the lives of Missouri citizens and people who visit our state. Often, these people are never convicted of a crime. Even where these people have committed a crime, they are often, the prosecutor will take their property and they won't have the ability to get the representation they need to contest these charges in a court of law. Now, I want to tell you that this is not just a Missouri problem. This is a 50-state problem. And this is the way that the drug war is funded. In 1993, the Department of Justice signed a memorandum of understanding with the Department of Defense that allowed them to buy used military equipment and send it to local law enforcement. So, here's the scam. They raid you, they take your stuff, then they use it to illegally buy guns to raid you again and buy more guns and pay for more police salaries and triple overtime hazard pay, because these SWAT officers in these raids get triple overtime pay because of hazard pay and because oftentimes they'll schedule these raids on weekends or on holidays. Can you imagine that? These people are in this business to get rich, but they're doing it at the expense of our lives, at the expense of our freedoms, at the expense of our democracy. And so, it is time for people like you and people like me to go back to the polls and begin voting and begin caring and beginning understanding that this is how the system works. It is not designed to help you. It is not designed to help you pursue your pursuit of happiness. It is designed to take your money, to steal from you, and to do it only so that the people who have figured out how to game the system can get rich. My organization is Americans for Forfeiture Reform. We do the basic ground level research and advocacy and coalition building that we need to take back our country, to take back our democracy. And mark my words, when we take this illegal money out of their hands, we will be able to win this war on drugs, because we can pass all the medical statutes we want. California can legalize it. But until the federal government stops paying state and local law enforcement to ignore those state laws and keep doing these raids where they burst into dispensaries and put medical patients in wheelchairs and cuffs on the ground and kick them and take their money and then prosecute them and put them in jail where they have no good medical care, that's wrong. But that's our country, and it's our responsibility to take it back. Thank you.